最厉害的功能就是沟通，人沟通了才会有 trade， 没有沟通是不可能有商业行为的，你要知道啊。所以它的经济力非常重要。那它同时是承载了你的文化，也同时是一个人思考的必要工具，思考的必要工具。人没有语言是不可能思考的，所以它有2种力 ，OK， 就是经济跟灵魂，哪一个比较重要啦？哪一个比较重要啊？有一本书不知道大家有没有听过，叫《圣经》啊。圣经里面呢有一个人叫耶稣，他讲这句话啊，他说了这句话，但是我觉得你不要被这句话误导，不要被这句话误导。OK， 就是你赚得全世界却赔上了灵魂，这不应该。可是呢，从来没有告诉你说，这个经济跟灵魂是鱼与熊掌不可兼得，当然可以兼得，是可以兼得的啊。那所以台湾语言学、语文学的学者们提出来的这个，现在有在联署嘛啊？多语台湾，英语友善，多语台湾是现状，也是愿景。对吧？我们再仔细思考，就多语台湾是今天的现状，因为台湾的本土语言还没死 ，OK， 即便是最弱势的都还奄奄一息，所以是现状。那我们的愿景是希望2030的时候呢，这个多语的这个美丽的地貌会变得更强烈嘛 ，OK。那在这个多语台湾底下呢，当然有它的经济效益啊，要看你怎么去。执行你的政策。那英语友善呢，是接受肯认英语作为世界现在是一个最通行的语言的这个现实。OK， 那这个现实会不会继续？有人点头。OK， 廖院长跟很多学者认为不一定。为什么？拉丁文来了去了，法文来了去了。你问我的话，我认为英文作为世界的通用语的地位不会变。我认为啊，就是你懂经济学的话，我认为英语的这个世界通用语地位已经是像我们的手表一样顺时钟方向 ，lock in 已经锁定了。但是想一下 AI 啦，2030的那一天哈，就比较低层的一些英文的一些沟通的东西，我认为应该都会被 AI 取代。所以你真正需要的是高阶的英语人才。所以英语友善的好处是什么呢？它是可收可放，你可以随着市局的变化跟台湾的需要，可以做多也可以做少，它是很有弹性的，但是它不会是到国家层级的地位啊。那可是2030双语国家呢是双输，绝对是双输，就是你在这个政策底下，因为你要把它拉到国家的层级，所以你在经济上的投资绝对跟你回收的没有办法成正比。所以你在经济上是输的，你在灵魂上是绝对是大输特输。这个政策如果执行下去的话，2030那一天，台湾比较弱势的一些原住民语言应该就拜拜了啊。那这个对台湾而言是一个在灵魂上一个重大的这个损失啊。马萨鲁，谢谢，感谢你 ，Thank you very much。
感谢何教授带来的精彩演讲。那接下来呢，我们欢迎第2位讲者，高理院院长与外文系特聘教授廖贤浩。
我的题目刚好就是接他刚刚讲的那个最后的结论，就是如果这个政策推出来的话，必然形成双输。那这个我在讲双输的时候，跟他的意思不完全一样，但其实是呼应的啊，其实是呼应的。那我主要今天因为今天有好几位讲者，那我在序言里面也把很多议题都触及到了。所以我今天就集中谈一个比较大家平常不谈的议题，或者就是说在台湾没有常常谈的议题，就是语言的学习跟创造力的关系是什么？creativity 的来源到底是什么？那我们这个所谓的双语国家的政策会怎么样的，事实上是压抑或者伤害我们的这个创造力。那我在我进行的我的这个简单的报告之前我要强调一下，这个我刚刚在最开始致辞的时候应该要提到的，就是说我们在座这5位学者都是英语文方面的专家所以我们基本上都是热爱英文的。那我们在这边没有任何人是说仇视英文，那我们在这边没有任何人是说不要学英文 同是英文，绝对不是站在这个。那我们在这边没有任何人是说不要学英文啊，同是英文，绝对不是站在这个。那我们在这边没有任何人是说不要学英文啊，同是英文，绝对不是站在这个。那我们在这边没有任何人是说不要学英文啊，同是英文。
P is 10, 10 less 1 is 9 here. P 10 less 1 equal to 9. This is G multiplied by AP. Okay, and don't forget, we still have a 1 divided by R. This is coming from here. Okay, so don't miss it out. Of course, we need this one. Okay, that's why we have a 1 divided by R multiplied by this term. This term's coming from here. Any questions? Zixuan, any questions? Okay. Xinping, are you here? Any questions? Okay, good. So that's one. So this is based on abnormal profit growth model. That will be 1 divided by R multiplied by this term. On the whiteboard, we determine it is G multiplied by AP. 10 here, 10 is terminal year 2027. This is 10, 2027. Divided by R less G here, multiplied by 1 plus R to the power of 10 less 1. That will be 9. That's why this is 9. Okay? Move here to here, right off 1 time, right? That's why 10 reduced to 9. That's why it is 9. That's T. That's T less 1. So that's why we have a T less 1. Any questions? 啊，这课本都没有写哈，所以我推导给你们，可以吗？这课本都没有哈。If you guys don't have other question, let's move on to the next model. We call free cash flow. Shongchen, could you have us to discuss how the discounted free cash flow model looks like? Equity value is equal to Yes. So how to define free cash flows? How? That should be profit one less change in book value of equity one divided by 1 plus R plus profit two less book value of equity change in year two divided by Y plus R square. TL one plus R to the power 10, profit 10 less change in book value of equity in year 10. From the year 1 to year 10, which is 2018 to 2027. Beyond after 2027, we have a 1 plus R to the power 11. Profits 11 less change in book value of equity 11. So for now, we are going to talk about this term, terminal value. Okay. Of course, we know this is a free cash flow to equity in year 10, right? Okay. This is a free cash flow to equity in year 11, 12, 13, 14, and continue. All right, so we are going to talk about the relationship between these two. Okay. Suppose abnormal profits grow as G. So we understand that AP 11 will be P11 less R BVE 10. AP 10 will be P profits 10 less R BVE 9. Suppose that abnormal profits follow growth rate is 3% or is G. With less. That will be G AP10. Okay? That makes sense that the P follow G growth, follow G's growth rate in change. And this BVE follow G growth rate in change as well. Okay? That's why that will be, this will be 1 plus G free cash flow to equity in year 10. Okay? So that's why here, free cash flow to equity in year 11 will be 1 plus G multiplied by free cash flow to equity in the year 10. All right? And in the same way, free cash flow to equity in year 12 will be 1 plus G multiplied by free cash flow to equity in year 11. Okay? Okay, good. So after defining the relationship between the two closed year, we realize that it must follow a G growth rate in terms of free cash flow to equity. So based on this equation or relationship, we are going to determine this TV. That will be 1 plus G free cash flow to equity in year 10. 1 plus R to the power of 11 plus 1 plus G to the power of 2 free cash flow to equity. 1 plus R 12 and continue. Right? So guess what? Oh, it follow a geometric progression again. So that will be 1 less 1 plus G, 1 plus R. 1 plus G free cash flow into equity in year 10 divided by 1 plus R to the power of 11. Okay? So guess what? It will be 1 plus G free cash flow to equity in year 10 R less G multiplied by 1 plus R in year 10 because 11 less 1 would be 10. Okay? Will be 10. So let's check it out. That is R less G multiplied by 1 plus R to the power of 10. 10 here is T. Okay? Terminal year, the 10th year. That is 1 plus G multiplied by free cash flow to equity in year, capital T, terminal year, 2027. That's why this is 10. Are you with me? OK? 好，这个因为课本都没有推哈，所以让你们知道一下。OK? Yes, 张腾。Well, 有看题目考有没有东西，但我感觉题目都很多了，但是不排除，对不对？你们都是非常顶尖的硕士生，所以我不应该让你们有不想准备的任何理由，对不对？所以应该这对你们来讲都很简单了。那我看起来都很简单。如果考这应该对很多人来讲应该是送分。好，因为这推导这个也没什么。OK。但也许我认为期末考推导的可能介于0分到10分，最多不会超过10分，也有可能都不考，最多10分啊。因为我们有推导太多 model， 那因为有太多东西可以考了，我考你们推导没什么意义，对不对？啊，所以大概是0到10分，最多10分，也许有可能是 bonus， 也许。好，张腾，也许 you are expecting bonus, perhaps， 也许我老师可以考虑一下，可以哈。好，就这样。如果我有考，就当 bonus。但你也知道，分数都是相对的，别人有拿你没拿，就相对比较，就相对会分数比较弱一点啊。所以你们还是尽可能的尽最大的努力，可以吗？好，你们研究生应该是这样的训练，应该是需要的啊。未来你们出去工作的时候，大概很少有这个机会了。但是你这个准备的过程，你把这个东西很严谨的推过去，你就会发现你讲出来的东西，其实你都很清楚，可以吗？啊，所以那个以后你们做那个财务分析啊，好投资分析的时候，你们就会更有那个基础，就会更好啊。这就是我为什么我觉得有些的坚持在这门课一定要教给你们的哈。OK。So for now, we have developed 3 different models, terminal value, including abnormal profits, abnormal profit growth model, and the free cash flow to equity model. All right. So finally, we are going to talk about the fourth scenario, which is called under the competitive equilibrium. Competitive equilibrium means that the firms after the terminal year, there is no way to gain any abnormal profits. Please notice that abnormal profit becomes zero doesn't mean profit is zero. These are two different things, right? No abnormal profits means it still earned normal profits, okay? Normal profits. What do you mean by normal profits? Normal profits. Zoe, are you here? Zoe, are you there? No. Shuzi. Yes. Could you explain what does normal profit mean? Well, that's simple. Let's check it out, abnormal profits. What does abnormal profit mean? Suppose this is T, less 1, right? If the abnormal profit is equal to 0, it means profits is equal to normal profits. So here we understand that the normal profits will be beginning book value of equity multiplied by cost of equity. Good. So in case that you only earned profits, it's a level with R multiplied by beginning of book value of equity. It means you earned normal profit. There is no any abnormal profits. This is a conditions or scenario we call competitive equilibrium. Okay? So let's go back to 3 different valuation model again. For now, we just denote the terminal value. I'm sorry. What does that mean? Terminal value. So TV, abnormal profits, low V, 1 plus R, T plus 1. T denotes terminal year. AP, T plus 1. AP, T plus 2. And here, because it reached a competitive equilibrium, means beyond after the terminal year, abnormal profit become 0, right? Become 0, okay. 0, 0, however, 0. So that's why terminal value on the abnormal profit model will be 0. Let's go back to another one. So we have a terminal value under abnormal profit growth model. Okay, let's continue. this one. 1 plus R. This is T, not T plus 1. 1 year lag, that will be T. Okay? Okay? Plus T plus 1, AP12 less AP11. Okay? AP11, 0. After terminal year, abnormal profits become 0. 12, 0. 0, 0 less 0, 0. But this one, less negative AP10. Okay? Negative AP10. So that's why. That would be, this is 1 divided by R less our negative AP10. 10 here is terminal year 2027. Okay? Year 10. Okay? No TH, year 10. Divided by 1 plus R to the power of 10. Okay? Any questions? Here. Ishan. Yes, any questions for this one? Good. Finally, we are going to talk about, can I clear this part? Can I? Okay, good. This is terminal value under free cash flow to equity. That will be 1 plus R to the power of 11 free cash flow to equity 11. Okay. So we are going to talk about this free cash flow in year 11. And we understand that there is no any abnormal profits, only retained normal profits. Normal profits denote will be R, BVE, right? What does that mean? Well, there's no difference to investing your profits in the company or invest in your monies in the rest of assets because both of them generate R, right? Generate R return. Okay, that is cost of equity. So we are going to have this one, R, B, B, E, 10. For the rest of the year, R, B, B, E. Okay. The only difference is a denominator. This is 11. This is 12. Okay. So what's the point? The point is, again, you follow our geometric progression. That would be 1 less 1. 1 less 1 divided by 1 plus r, right? R, B, V, E, 10, 1 plus r to the power of 11. Low B, low B, low B, R. Oh, no, there is no R because we have R and this is another R, right? That's why we have a BVE 10 divided by 1 plus I to the power over 10. Good. That's correct. So book value of equity 10. Of course, year 10 denotes 2027 here. 1 plus R here to the power of T. T is 10 here. So in this case, T denotes 10. 10th year means 2027. Okay, year 2027. Are you with me? Yuchun, are you here? Yes, any questions for this one? Good. Zhenchuan, any questions? No? 好，这个也没推导，我推给你们看。哦，所以课本有时候有点混啊、哦，真正比较难的都没有啊。哦 Any questions? 重启, are you here? Any questions? No? Good. So if you guys don't have other question, I do have a question for you guys. Please calculate terminal value under competitive equilibrium assumption only on incremental value. What does that mean? In terms of competitive equilibrium assumption only on incremental revenue implies G is equal to 0. Okay? Means after the terminal year, you are going to have a constant abnormal profits, which means G is 0. G is 0. Doesn't mean abnormal profit is 0. No, these are two different things. Abnormal profit is 0. It is a competitive equilibrium. If it's a competitive equilibrium, assumptions only on incremental revenue imply that G is equal to 0. Two different things. G is equal to 0 is in scenario 3. Competitive equilibrium is a scenario 4. Okay? So, could anyone help us to determine 3 different equity valuation models terminal value? As G is 0. Jiayu, based on the G growth rate is 0, could you help us to determine the terminal value on the discounted abnormal profit model? So, what does it look like? AP 2027 divided by Great. Correct. Okay. Ziqiao, are you here? Yes. Could you help us to determine the terminal value under APG when G is 0? It becomes 0. Correct. Why? Jia, could you help us to determine the terminal value under free cash flow to equity when G is 0? I'm sorry? This one? That will be R multiplied by 1 plus R to the power of T, right? Correct. Any questions? So the bottom line is that if I ask you any questions about terminal value, the shortcut is you must have the ability to have this formula, right? Based on this formula, you can apply the G at any rate. But if it reach a competitive equilibrium, it will fail because this formula does not fit that category. You must use another one. It is this one. Okay? Any questions? No? All right. So I think we have finished terminal value. So we do have some final words for the terminal values discussion, but I think it's time to take a 10 minutes break. So let's take a 10 minutes break and we are going to deal with the rest of thing. And after that, I'm going to give you guys an example in class exercise. So this is a big question, comprehensive question. We have let me see, question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 big questions. So this is a good exercise. I know some of the students are anxious about how we are going to make it, how we are going to survive based on these very complicated topics. The idea is that you just have to follow my steps and make more practice by using the following example. All right, you don't have to go extra mile, do a lot of exercise. No, you don't have to. You just have to make this exercise and get the fully understanding of it. Okay, so let's take a 10 minutes break. 但也许呀，我认为期货。Free cash flow to equity. That will be 1 plus R. Very based on these very complicated topics. The idea is that you just have to follow my steps and make more practice by using the following example. All right, you don't have to go extra mile, do a lot of exercise. No, you don't have to. You just have to make this exercise and get the fully understanding of it. Okay, so let's take 10 minutes break. Okay, we'll come back. So for now, we have a fully discussed how to evaluate a firm's equity value, including different models, including the model settings, including cost of equity, including our terminal values. So finally, this is our general discussions to make a comparisons between the equity value and the asset value. And one thing I would like you know is that none of the model, none of the method is perfect. And let's record what we have learned from the beta. Based on the relationship between the equity beta, business beta, or other betas, or data betas, we make a conclusion that, well, equity beta is not always constant, right? Why? In case that you change your leverage, you change your financial leverage, will affect equity beta. And equity beta is the driver to determine cost of equity, which is the discount rate, play an important role in valuation model. In contrast to the equity beta, we understand that asset beta will not be affected. So one of the advantage of the asset beta is that because it is constant. So another way to determine the equity value is we determine the asset value first, and we deduct or add some components and finally reach the equity value. Okay. So based on this one, you can tell as well. Once you increase the date or increase your leverage, will increase what? Let me see. Right, you will increase your beta, equity beta. So let's go back to the final one, this one. So another way to determine this one, the equity value, is we get started with estimate the value of net operating assets, because we understand that business assets consist of two different assets. One is net operating assets. Another one is non-operating investment assets. Okay? So once we are able to estimate the value of net operating assets, after some additions and deductions, finally we reach the equity value. And the advantage of this one is because what? Based on this beta, we don't have to worry about the leverage change, right? We don't have to worry about the leverage change because asset beta will not be affected. Okay? So there is another way to determine the equity beta through the value of the net operating assets. So this one. So let's go back to this one. So based on this illustration, it is a persistent abnormal performance scenario, which is a scenario 1 in HM case. Assume after the terminal year, after 2027, abnormal profit growth is 3%. 3, G denotes 3%. And we have been here done that. Once we put G in different models, we determine is corresponding terminal value, right? For example, abnormal profit model T, if we put G is equal to 3, we put this amount, and finally we determine the terminal value on the abnormal profit model. In the same way, this one and the last one. So after the calculation, this is a terminal value. Again, what do you mean by terminal value? Terminal value is the present value of a future free cash flow or abnormal profits beyond after terminal year. So this value beyond forecast horizon, which is called terminal value. So based on those calculations, these three denote their terminal value under different model. Okay? And we also have a value from forecast period, which is from the year 1 to the year 10. Okay? Of course, in abnormal profit model, we need a beginning of a book value of equity. Okay? So one thing for sure is once you sum up, will lead to the same result. Again, different valuation model will lead to the same result. Okay? And either this one, last one, from any valuation models coming from two components. One is a value from forecast period, and another one is called terminal value, right? Once you combine these components together, determine your total equity value. So the bottom line is that the total equity value must be the same across different valuation model. This is a value per share. It's not a big deal. Simply means total value divided by the number of outstanding shares. That is denote EPS, right? And what I'm saying is that we are able to, from another way, from the net operating asset values. Okay? So how? Well, that's simple. Suppose that we put equity, not equity value. No, sorry. Suppose under abnormal profit model. What does that mean? Well, that would be book value of net operating assets, right? In year 0 plus 1 divided by R. This denotes this is R, is a IF plus R net operating asset multiplied by RM less AIF. Right? Different from the cost of equity. They are two different things. Okay? This one will be abnormal return. No. Okay. Net operating profits after tax. Right? And this denotes net operating profits after tax less R, we call, let me see, NOA. Okay? Multiplied by net operating assets. Suppose this is R1, this is 0, this is 1, and continue. Okay? So for now, you have successfully transferred the equity value model from abnormal profit perspective to the net operating assets value. So I would like to give you guys the comparison. This is core equity. So try to make a comparison. It will be book value of equity, right? Plus 1 plus R. Of course, we know we denote, of course, it is equity, cost of equity. This is abnormal profits 1. And abnormal profit 1 is equal to profit 1 less R beginning book up value of equity. Can you see the similarity between these two? Okay. This is our equity value. We replace equity value with the net operating asset value. Okay. This is a beginning book value of equity. We replace it with a book value of net operating assets. This is abnormal profits. Don't worry, we have abnormal net operating profits after tax. In terms of abnormal, we know it is a net operating profit after tax less cost of net operating assets are multiplied by net operating assets at the beginning. All right? The same trick in different story. Ruoxuan, any questions? Good. Lin Xuan, are you here? Any questions? Okay, good. So this is how we measure, how we estimate net operating asset value. Again, we have 2 components. Once you continue this one, it reduces 2 components. One is we call forecast horizon. Another component we call terminal value. Are you with me? Okay. So once you sum up, all right, once you sum up, the total value is here. This is, please notice that this is the total value for net operating assets. Okay? This one. Net operating assets value. Okay? Of course, using different models should reach to the same result. Now it makes sense that assets normally is higher, right? Is higher than equity. But in this case, still there is a difference between net operating assets and equity value. So we must make some rearrangements. We plus something and less the date, right? Then finally, we determine the equity value is here. You may notice that this amount is different from this amount, right? Because still, there is a kind of difference between these 2 models. But one thing for sure, this one is not far away from the previous one. All right, we are not far away from this one. Okay? So what's the point? The point is that in case you wanted to avoid any forecasting of the leverage, you can try another approach by using this one. And the advantage of this one is that you don't have to forecast future leverage. Okay? Any questions? So I think this is the final word for this chapter. So here comes the kind of conclusion. Okay, let's look into it. It is useful to check assumptions used against the time series trade for company performance ratio. Of course, we understand that. stock price of a publicly traded company are good to compare estimates of value with. That makes sense. Sensitivity analysis for different economic scenarios are a good idea to conduct. Well, this is very important one. Because as an analyst in your analysis, you must have a different scenario. That is called sensitive analysis. Sensitive analysis means you set 3 different or 4 several scenarios, and perhaps one is a pessimistic one, and another one is optimistic one. So you set the ceiling and the floor, right? So that makes sense that well, based on your valuations, you believe that it's reasonable, your appropriate value should fall into this interval. That is called the result from sensitivity analysis. Okay, so this is a good one. Good one. Okay. In practice, analysts must deal with a number of issues having important effects on valuation, including the following. One is accounting distortion. Of course, we understand that accounting distortions will affect from the fail to perceive this kind of distortion. And in the theory, we understand that accounting distortion will not affect a firm's price. But in reality is that if the investor fail to perceive this distortion, this bias information will affect the firm's price. Right? Are you with me? Again, this is one is very important. In theory, we understand that accounting distortion will not affect firm's value. But in practice, that in case that the investor fail or the market fail to perceive this distortion, and you apply the bias information to estimate firm value, this will lead to a biased value, right? So as a professional analyst, you must take care of the accounting distortion. How? 2 ways. One is you must undo bias information in this period. Okay, this is the first way. Any question? The second way is that, well, you know this is kind of distortion. For example, the firm's sales is overstated. What you are going to do? Oh, based on this bias information, I am going to decrease the future forecasting sales because this year is overstated. The future year is understated. Will be understated as a reverse effect. Are you with me? So that's why perceiving the accounting distortion is essential and critical and important for sure. And there are 2 ways you can do, you can follow. Okay? Zhenyu, are you there?
Yes, yes.
然后
Yeah.
郑宇老师刚才讲的 accounting 遇到 accounting distortion 这个的问题的时候怎么处理？
Accounting distortion， 没听懂。
好，没关系，再想一下。觉昌，刚刚老师说你觉得 accounting distortion 遇到这个问题要怎么处理？觉昌 ，Are you there？ Now， 钟辉，刚刚老师说 accounting distortion 这个问题要怎么处理？从一个专业的分析师。Oh, you're back. Good, good. 好，一心，
老师，
Hello， 一心要怎么处理？2个方法，哪2个方法？
调整嘛？
调整这一期的，对不对？因为你
对
知道了嘛。
对，
因为 accounting distortion 理论上是不会影响公司的价值。现在高估以后就低估，现在低估以后就高估。我们上次已经证明这件事情了。但是问题是，可能投资人或市场没有察觉，对不对？
对，
他就用错误的 bias 的 information 去估计公司，那就得到一个 bias 的 value。所以遇到 accounting distortion 2个方式，第一个是 undo 现在的，对不对？这是我们在之前章节就有。另外一个呢？
要调整过去的错误。
调整过去的错误没有，于事无补，对不对？你看的这些的 valuation model 有哪一个是用过去的？
还是调整对未来的，就
Yes，
是现在先
调整未来的，
然后
对不对？
调整未来的。
你知道这个 distortion 会影响到未来，你就要把它的未来，它的反转的效果要把它考虑进来 ，right？
对。
Okay, good. So this is the idea for dealing with accounting distortion. Next, negative book value. In case that well, it is a book value of equity is negative. What we are going to do? Xinyu, are you here? Yes. What's your solution? What's your suggestions? You are the analyst. You will study a negative book value firm. What you are going to do? Is that possible firm's value is negative? Of course, it is impossible, right? But its book value of equity is negative. What you are going to do? Jinjie, are you here? Yes. What's your point? Zero. Well, it is negative, but you make it become zero. But well, this firm's CEO will not buy your story. Are you kidding me? Well, I work so hard, but my firm's value, equity value is zero. How you respond to this kind of argument? Zero is not enough, right? Maybe zero is not enough. Roshan, yes. What's your point? Yeah, that's a potential solution. As we mentioned, that perhaps you can evaluate its asset value, not equity value, right? You can estimate its asset value, not equity value. That's a good one. Also, don't forget that chapter 4 is a powerful adjustment. Once you study, look into a firm with a negative book value, perhaps because it initially invests a lot R&D, let's make its profits is negative and had a whole bunch of negative retained earnings. That's why it has a negative book value of equity. So what you are going to do? If you appreciate this kind of R&D or investment, you should try to capitalize its capital expenditure or R&D. Are you with me? And make it become positive. This is another solution. Any questions? Good. Go on. Finally, excess cash balance and cash flows. Firms with the cash beyond the level required to finance operations warrants further investigation to understand whether the excess cash indicates government problem. In practice, this is the case. Many firms, they are called cash cows. Cash cows means they have less investment opportunity, but they are holding a whole bunch of cash. Okay? So this is a kind of associate with a government problem or corporate government mechanism. So please understand that in practice, if a firm it has a government or agency problem, you should take care of this issue. Why? because they are going to use this kind of free cash flow into negative NPV projects will impair the fund value. That's why. So sometimes if you look into some firms with this kind of a lot of free cash flow or cold cash cow, and for no reasonable explanations, you must take into account of the corporate governance problems into the valuation. Okay? All right. So that's the end for this chapter. So finally, I'm going to give you guys a step-by-step in-class exercise. So please, in the following time, please follow my step and go through all the following questions. And make sure that after today's class, please repeat and redo this exercise. It will be definitely helpful for your final examination preparation. Okay? Any questions? Okay, so if you guys don't have other question, let's get started. All right, so this is an in-class exercise. You don't have, it's up to you, but I highly recommend you guys to write down the following answers. Problem 1, okay, estimating Hugo Boss equity value. We know Hugo Boss is a luxury brand. It's a German designer, manufacturer, and a distributor of men's and women's clothing, operating in the higher end fashion needs of the clothing retail industry. During the period 2004 to 2017, the company consistently earned the returns on equity, ROE, in excess of 20%. Wow, that's a good one. With peaks around 50 to 60%. Wow, very impressive. Grew its book value of equity before special dividends by 5% per year on average, and the payout 65 to 80% of its profits as dividends. Okay? This is just a background and a brief introduction about its financial performance for Hugo Boss company. On March 29, 2018, before the publications of our first quarter result, we know the annual financial statement, if there is fiscal year end in December, it is required to publish its financial statement or first quarter results, normally not late by the end of April, okay? Which have Hugo Boss 69 million common share trade. It's about 71 per share. An analyst like you guys produce the following forecast for Hugo Boss on the right side, all right? On the right side. So you have this is income statement information. Also, you have a balance sheet. And you see 2018, 2019, 2020 followed with E. E means expected or forecasted. Okay? So these are forecasting information. E expected, okay, forecasted. Okay? And this is a realized, R denotes it is a realized actual information here. Okay? So before the publications, you make the following 3 years forecasting, including the income statement and balance sheet information. And assume that Hugo Boss cost of equity equals 10%. Okay? So first one calculates free cash flow to equity, abnormal profits, and abnormal profit growth for the year from 2018 to 2020. So let's do it. First of, we are going to calculate free cash flow to equity in 2018, 19, and 20. So how? That's simple, right? Profits profit 2019 less the change in book value of equity in 2018. Okay, so that will be here. Profits here 249. 249 less now be right. Are you with me? So we are going to look into the book value of equity here. Here. All right. 972 less 915 here. Okay. That's why it is 192. Any questions? Now, let's talk about free cash flow to equity 2019. So very similar. We have our profits 2019 less change in book value of equity 10. That will be $210. I think at this point, it's not necessary to point out the value because same thing, right? So I have a point out how to determine the free cash flow to equity in 2018. You follow the same manner, determine the value in 2019. Finally, we have a free cash flow to equity 2020. Lobby profits 2020 less change in book value of equity 2020. Lobby 306 less 1,130 less 1,039. Lobby 215. Any questions? If you guys don't have other question, let's talk about abnormal profits. Abnormal profits 2018. That will be profits 2018 less cost of equity multiplied by the beginning book value of equity 2017. That will be 249 less 0.1 multiplied by 915. That will be 157.5. Profit here again in 2008. This one 249 less cost of equity 10% multiplied by this one, the beginning book value of equity, right? The beginning book value of equity would be the ending book value of equity in the previous year. Okay, that's why you should look into the book value of equity in 2017. Any questions? So if you guys don't have other question, I'm going to follow the same manner. Please help yourself to make a double check, okay? This is abnormal profits in 2019 amounts to 179.8. Finally, we are going to determine abnormal profits in 2020. That'll be 202.1. Okay? So you follow the same manner. If you can deal with the year one, I believe you don't have other questions to deal with the rest of years. The same manner. The same manner. If you guys don't have other question, we are going to determine abnormal profit growth. Abnormal profit growth in 2018, there'll be abnormal profits in 2018, less abnormal profits in 2017. But because abnormal profit in 2017 required profits 2017 less or multiplied by book value of equity in 2016. And the book value of equity in 2016 is not available. So this one is not available, okay? Because we miss this one. There is no information for this one. It's not available, okay? Next, abnormal profits growth in 2019, less easy. It is in 2019 abnormal profits, less abnormal profits in 2018. And guess what? We have to deal with these two, right? In this one here, okay? So that will be the difference between these two. 179.8 less 157.5 would be 22.3. The difference between these two. Any questions? And finally, we are going to calculate abnormal profit growth in 2020. That's simple. 2020 less abnormal profits 2019 will be the difference between these two again, right? 202.1 less 179.8, 22.3. Okay, it is just a coincidence. All right, it's just a coincidence. These 2 years abnormal profit growth are totally the same. Just a coincidence. Okay. Any question for question A? Question 1? Honestly, this is not just a one question. It has a 9 question, right? Consists of 9 sub-questions. So in case that I ask you kind of this question, perhaps each one only counts 1 point, right? I totally with 9 points. Because you have many times, you have 3 hours to complete, to finish your final. So I think it is 1%. I think it is okay. It's okay. Question 2. Let's look into it. let's look into the question. Assume that in 2021, Hugo Boss liquidates. Jia, what does liquidate mean? Jia, what does liquidate mean here? That means you sell your assets and pay off your debts. OK， 中文叫做清算，把你的资产卖了，债务偿还。OK， 这个字一定要记得。Liquidate always says it's their book value, so there is no any gain or losses. There is no any gain or losses on disposal of assets. Now, what's the point? Because if you have any gain, you are going to increase your net income, right? You are going to have a positive net income or revenue. If there is any loss, will increase your expense, will definitely affect your net income. Okay. So this assumption is guarantee that the net income becomes zero in simplicity. Okay. So there is no this kind of issue. It's a book value, right? Once you sell your assets book value, which means the market value selling price is equal to the book value. That's why there is no gain or any losses. You can learn the beauties from accounting course or intermediate accounting course. Use the proceed. Proceed, what does that mean? Proceed means cash received, all right? To pay off your debts and pay out the remainder to its equity holders. So you sell off your assets, pay off your debt, and what is left is going to distribute it to the shareholders. Okay? So what does this assumption imply about the company free cash flow to equity holders in 2021 and beyond? So first off, we are going to talk about the free cash flows to equity. Zhang Cheng, what do you think? Free cash flow to equity. 2021. Yes. In case that this is up to 2020, another year, 2021, you liquidate all your assets, pay off your debts. And finally, what is left is going to be distributed to the shareholders as a free cash flow, right? So, free cash flow in 2021. How much? Can anyone handle this one? Zhonghui, seems like you have a solution. Yes, how? Correct, how? Good. Yeah. Less. Okay, so could you continue? Profit is 0. Good. Less. Wow, you really did a nice job. This is a 0. 100, this one. 1,130. Lao B 1,130. Great. I'm going to give you a double check because you give us a very excellent solution. Any questions? Now, how about free cash flow to equity in 2022? Zhonghui, could you continue for the next year? Are you sure? Okay, no problem. This is a free cash flow to equity 2022, right? Lobby profits 2022 less book value of equity in 2022. Lobby 0 less 0 less 0 become 0. Okay? Any questions? For any year beyond 2021 will be 0 for sure. Okay, so this is our answers for our 2A, question 2, question 2A. How about question B? That is abnormal profits. In 2021. Lobby profits 2021 less cost of equity multiplied by book value of equity in 2020 will become 0 less 0.1 multiplied by 1,000 plus 1, 30. 1,130, lobby negative 113. Okay? This is 0. 0. Less 10% book value of equity in 2020, 1,130. That's why it is negative 113. Any questions? Another one, abnormal profits 2022. Okay, lobby profits 2022, these are 2021. That would be 0 because P is 0, profit is 0. This one is 0 as well. Any questions? So this is the answer for question B. How about the question C? Abnormal profits growth 2021. Lobby abnormal profits 2021. Less abnormal profits 2020. 2021 here is negative 113. Abnormal profits in 2020 in the previous slide. Lobby 2.2.1. That will be negative 315.1. This one is the answer in question 1 from question 1. Okay. Any questions? How about abnormal profits in 2022? Abnormal profits growth in 2022 will be abnormal profit 2022 less abnormal profits 2021. That will be 0 less negative 113. That will become 113. The same manner with a different value, different inputs lead to a different result, but the same manner. Any questions? Can we continue, or you guys prefer to take a break for 5 minutes or 10 minutes? Can we? 要中间休息一下继续休息 cool. Okay, let's take a 10 minutes break. Thank you. 好，老师先把上面的先留下来一下，好不好？待会再查。Hello. 这个是这个，是因为你可以它的镜子的部分是比较不怎么样从，假如没有记得其他的中国收入，至少不是说它的保留成亏损大，吃掉了它原本，就代表说它有很多累积的亏损，但累积的亏损是在损益费用的量。那费用的能力有可能是他在一个新创公司的时候，他一开始需要投入资本支出会变成资本支出会是拯救费用，说直线大，那有它就可以从直线，对不对？那它会变成说内金行，实际上这些的研发或资本支出它是有价值，只是在会计的处理上，它一开始的很多是亏损，那你就可以把这些做资本化，历史上数学的。那这样调整回来，它
用资本化，
资本化分好几，譬如说
转成资产，
先转成资产，看你要分期去谈，对不对？还没印象
哦。
对，
好，谢谢。
哎。你们可以自己做假设，做假设啊 ，Good question， 我待会再说一下 ，Yes。就有资本有，然后我有在我的信箱放了期中考，期中考有几没有排错，但问题是有一些东西我放，所以同学加，然后全班每天都要加6。所以你如果拿到我的分数是85，我改成88，你就要先把它到88，然后最后呢，我们就改完之后再加6的，然 然后你要记得进去拿。哦，差不多。那海鲜上的收发都可以很好，但是就会变成一半的纸本，一半的上传到那个之前的，会有一个 folder。
跟特质。
再讲一次，因为呢，是 profits 减掉啊，然后呢，这少分的 profits 是代表它的 profits，所以呢，它的 big case flow 都会，这样的意思是什么呢？大家想象 big case flow 它可以转换成，大家想象它的概念是，我提出的这个同学，那我继续放，积增加，他也没办法多听赚，赚的就是他，所以他就会发现多赚多少，他就把分配上去，配进去，比如说他150，技能值不断的，就110，把投资上，他没办法获得额外的所以为什么呢？没有，它不是零，它这个是不是又可以转换成这个地方的，它会刚好，那是说呢，他那一笔赚了多少，没有超报酬，他赚了100万，他就把这个100亿，就把它做一个人发放给100亿怎么来，就是他的对的，所以这两个是不同的，所以就为什么这个为什么明白这个这个又概念是一样的，在这个 case 里，这样 OK 吗？对。
对，现在模型都是一样的，对。
啊，没有，不一定，
不一定嘛。我想说好像
没有一样，
没有一样嘛，
没有一样。
是因为假设它不是给图表的类型，刚刚前面简单的跟 model 的轨道，
像刚刚这里就好一个不一样。
对，这里它有那个简单的财报列出来。那我是刚刚前面在算他们都译了之后，然后音乐人的变数。
哦，不要，刚刚的 terminal 也是说我们假设 terminal 的话，你做怎么样？
对，
什么样的成长率？但有可能是说它是成长率，还是在那更早之前？你有没有印象？在第7章的时候，我们有假设有两个 case， 一个是 follow， 一个是 AP， 会得背它的。
对，
对不对？还有一个是说 render walk 是 AP。那当时那个只是说，在不同的假设当中，如果它发了一个成长率或者一个规律的时候，会比较好算。但实际上你在做报告的时候，你本来是没有。你还记得在那之前，在算 PE 或 PE 的时候，在算 PE 的时候，哇，讲究这一些啊都是。对啦，类似啊，物价区的 less 的这里我们就没有调整到谁，他没有，他不需要你，这样可以 ，OK， 过。好，刚刚的同学哈问老师说，那期末报告的时候，是不是有一些东西要假设？答案没有错哈。好，譬如说 terminal value， 我们刚才有决定 G， 对不对？我们有告诉你们要设多少。好，这个跟你们写论文一样，对不对？以后你们就会经历到，知道老师每一次都很快的给你答案，你大概学不到什么，你就只是变成一个执行的人。但都不跟你讲呢，你大概也不知道自己对跟错，对不对？所以最好的方法是我先允许你们做一些，先让你们放手做，然后你们报告的时候，我再给你们建议，然后再给你们1个礼拜改。嘿。好，当然说，老师说我们第一次报告随便写，没有，有些人很认真，而且他做的假设很合理，这就会看得出落差了，对不对？好，跟以后你们出去做事的道理一样。好，我想我们的学生在学术当中的训练都非常严谨，但是我的经验是，毕竟是学生，我们觉得实作的东西比较少。我也把这一门课当成是一个理论跟实务都要同时进行的一门课。好，可以吗？好，所以 we'll see。好，我们到时候我们就会看哪一组报告做的比较细腻，有一些呢，该做的都做，但是该错的也错，哦，那个就会分数就会落差蛮大。平均来讲，我在打的分数大概是在70到95，好，所以 range 蛮大的。期末报告没有说一定会90，这样对不起，做很好的，对不对？70到95，在很少数的 case 里面可能会低于70，这样 case 我没有。到现在还没有，但是有可能只有70分。好，所以你们要注意啊哈。其实如果期末报告拿70分，期中期末再考不好，会非常危险，非常危险。我会自行做调整，我了解你的意思。譬如说第1个礼拜总是错了，第二个礼拜的人还会那个，对不对？所以做法是怎么样？第1个礼拜相对比较，第2个礼拜相对比较，这样会比较合理。你这个问题很好，所以确实第1个礼拜 我不要讲对手，我们讲都是公平竞争，对不对？你比较的是就是那个礼拜的报告的人，所以我打的分数都是相对的。你要慢慢接受这个事实，以后你们出去工作也是相对的，任何东西都没有绝对，对不对？好，我们也是学社会科学，不学自然科学，也是都是相对的哈。慢慢接受这个事实，但你们都很棒，所以我想应该没问题，我很期待。Okay, let's continue. Question 3. Estimate the value of Hugo Boss equity on March 29, 2018. Using the preceding forecast and assumption, check the discounts cash flow models, abnormal profit models, and abnormal profit growth model yield the same outcome. Okay, so suppose this is true. Of course, it is far away from the truth, but based on this assumption, the question requires us to determine its equity value. Okay, so we are going to talk about the equity value. Under free cash flow to equity model on 2018, January 1st. I know it required us to determine, estimate the equity value on March 29. But because this is not the beginning of the year, it will make this counts process more complicated. I'm going to show you later on. So assume that it's at the beginning of the 20. We have the following vector. Okay, so we have determines the free cash flow to equity from question 1 and question 2 respectively, right? So we just list information. That will be I'll be 1,281.4. The reasons we stop in 2021 is based on the assumption, because we assume that in 2021, Hugo Boss liquids all its assets and the pay off its debts. That's why we stop here. Okay? Of course, it is a very naive, simplified assumption. So let's look into another equity value from perspective of abnormal profit model. again, that will be 2018, January 1st. That will be beginning book value of equity. Sure, it will be on 2017, December 31st, plus abnormal profits 2018, 1.1, abnormal profits 2019, 1.1 to the power of 2, AP 2020, 1.1 to the power of 3, AP 2021, to the power of 4. Okay? So we have this information getting from question 1 and question 2. This is this is 915. All right? This is 915. Let's go back to here. This one, 915. All right? On the table, 915 on the table. This is from the question 1. That will be 157.5. This is 179.8. This one was 202.1. This is from question 2. This one with negative 113. Finally, of course, it should be 1,281.4. Same result. Different models lead to the same result for sure. Any questions? And finally, we are going to determine equity value again. Under abnormal profit growth model, it's at the beginning of 2018. That will be profits 2018 R plus 1 divided by R. $1.1 APG 2019 plus 1.1 to the power of 2 APG 2020 plus APG 2021 1.1 to the power of 3. Finally, APG 2022 1.1 to the power of 4. Of course, we understand that R here is 10%. Profits in 2018 here, 249, okay? So this is 249. In the table, represented in the table. This is this 1, 2, 3, these 2 coming from question A. Question 1, these 2 coming from question 2. This is a 22.3. 22.3, as I mentioned, it's just a coincidence. Okay, just a coincidence. So finally, you are going to tell, yes, it should lead to 1,281.4, the same result. So we have a maker for checkout and verifies different models lead to the same result. Any questions? No? So let's look into the next question. Under the assumption that the historical trade in the company's ROE approximates 25%, payout ratio 80%, and book value growth rate 5% continue in the future, what would be your estimate of Hugo Boss equity value to book ratio? So this one is an independent one without this assumption, all right? This is the independent one without this assumption. So based on this information, would you please estimate PB ratio? PB ratio here is value to book ratio, okay?好，刚刚这一题哈，刚刚我们只有算到2018 1月1号，对不对哈？这里我怕你们听不懂哦，这里稍微解释一下，这个题目是要我们算到什么？2018年的3月29，对不对？对不对？好，所以呢1.187 divided by 365，因为这个现在只有算到1月1号，对不对？所以呢，你要 follow 那个 R 算到3月29，那3月29在这个复利当中，对不对？你把它想象这个 cost equity， 理论上它就有一个复利的概念 ，right？ 好，这87怎么来的？从1月1号到3月29 ，number of day from。好，如果你不知道的话，没关系。1月30， 2月假设29，大部分是29，来 March 到3月29，对不起，28、29，所以是87。OK，Any questions? Last one。好，所以我考试我不会考你这个概念，我大概就会直接问你到1月1号。如果我说如果考试的话，只是如果。OK。Any questions? 没有，对不对？说老师为什么需要这个？因为你如果没有这个的话，这里会变到很麻烦，对不对？你这个就不会是1.1，对不对？这个就很麻烦了。因为如果你要从3月29，然后倒推的时候，这个就不会刚好是1.1，会比较难算。所以我们就用这个方法，我们先除1.1，先算起初，因为刚好一整年比较好算，然后之后再把它弄上去嘛，再把它加上去。这个概念应该很简单，应该有，对不对？你们学财务的一定有。All right, okay, good. 好，如果你要知道它的怎么样，它的股价是多少？如果在这个 case 里面的话，刚刚就是1310.9除以 outstanding share 69个 million。好，这个是 outstanding share number of outstanding share 每股，这是 equity 的 total value 除以 number of outstanding shares。所以它每一股呢，刚好是18.998 per share。好，这是额外给你们的，好，这是 total value 就好了。如果你想要知道它的那个 price per share 就是这个。Okay, question 4. Zhenchuan, any question for this one? This one? No. Okay. 听得懂我的意思，对不对？如果我们把这里编成是3月29，它就没有到一整年，对不对？它就会比较365分之365减87，这样太麻烦了，对不对？按计算机按到10，好，这不好按，这个是次方哦，好，还要这个，你们懂我意思了 ？OK。Question 4. Equity value. Now be under abnormal profit model. That will be book value of equity plus divided by 这个我就直接写了，我想不用再推导一次了。我也想要再推导一次，但是有点懒惰啊，不是 difficult， 是有点懒惰。这之前我们都讲过了，我就直接可以吗？啊。This is a ROE2. These are 1 plus G, 1 plus R. Okay? Suppose, of course, this is just assumption. It's not necessary to assume ROE is the same rate. It's not necessary. And suppose G is 5%. Okay, this is GE. Okay, gross rate in book value of equity. If you are interested, I'm going to extend to the third year to you. This is RE. 3, these are 1 plus G, 1 plus G. This is this is GE. And because the G, again, is a constant rate, 5%. Right? That's why you'll be 1 plus constant RE, which is 0.25. Less R less G. Any questions? Okay, because you follow 1 plus R, 1 plus G, right? Follow this geometric progression. That's why it is 1 plus 25% less 10%. R 10% less 5%. Now B 4. Any questions for this one? Okay. So if you guys don't have other question, let's look into question 5. The analyst followed Hugo Boss estimated target price 77 per share. 这个的意思是在你们期末报告也会遇到，你也可以折中做法，是说我先 observe 它的价值，那你就可以推导出 它背后的隐含那个 G terminal 的 value 的成长率是多少，倒推，对不对？这是一个好办法。有时候我们就看说，在我们实务上，老师也常常这样做，观察到这个公司的价值，那你知道这个 model 的关系，你就可以推出它背后一些的隐含的假设，那你就可以针对这些假设，你就说，哎，这个假设是到底是高估还是低估，那你就可以很做一个方向的判断。其实你在做一些的 analyst， 你在做分析师，如果你未来做分析师，最常做的决策是2个，买或卖 ，right？ 买或卖都是方向而已，人不是神，不需要想说这个股价每一天在变，你只要买跟卖决策对就好了 ，right？ OK， good。所以有些学生呢，我常听到有些学生立志要说 buy side， 然后有些学生喜欢 sell side 都好啊，只要你知道可以做得很专业，做什么都很好啊。Okay, suppose that the target price of 75, sorry, 77. So which means the market value of equity that would be 77 multiplied by 69 million shares. That would be 5,313 on 2018, March 28th. Right? So it turned out to be this is 5,316 divided by 1.1 would be 5,193.7 on 2018 January 1st. The same treat, okay? So this is the price here. Those turn out to be on January 1st will be, okay? So equity value here is equal to 5,193.7, okay? Is equal to book value of equity 2017, December 31st, of course, plus AP under AP model. Okay? (2018) 1.1 plus AP 2019 1.1 to the power 2 AP in 2020 1.1 to the power 3. And finally, you have a TV. So this is called TV. Terminal value. OK? 老 B 这个我们今天都推导过了哈，所以我就不再推了。1 plus G AP 2020 divided by R less G 1.1 to the power of 3. 如果你忘了，你回去看老师今天推导的。Any questions? Okay. So this one is given. This one is given. Givens. So finally, you can have this G. G approximates 5.5%. Sorry, 5.8%. G. OK， 这就是老师讲的。有时候呢，你倒推，看现在它市场的价值多少，对不对？在现有的东西，你就可以倒推它的 G， 市场预期它的 G。如果你觉得 G 呢被低估了，那开玩笑，代表这个价值要更高。如果你觉得 G 呢被高估了，那就代表了它现在的价值被高估了，对不对？这是另外一个方法。好，所以你们学财报分析，学这个 model 要有办法运用，不是只有一边去算这一边。有时候这个知道了，就可以倒推，推说它背后隐含的 G 是多少。我应该不用写公式给你吗？应该还好，对不对？好，应该还好。好，如果你很想知道这个 G 怎么来的，好，没关系，好，我写给你们。我手上有一点笔记。你看起来像这个 G 好像很难算，其实没有。我印象中我按计算机按一下就出来了哈。好，所以这个好就等于这个，然后之后就解这个 G 而已。好，就解那个 G 而已。其实按计算机没有很复杂。好，可以吗？自己回去按就知道了。好，感觉起来时间应该是要到了，对不对？我是不是应该停在这里？还是要剩下2题？其实应该还好，才10分钟。要继续吗？好，你们都笑了哈，笑的意思就是不好意思讲，先停在这里哈。All right, so let's call it a day. Any question? So next week we are going to get started with question 6 and 7. Okay? Any questions? All right. If you guys don't have other question, I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye bye. Discord 是关系很交易。